Hey guys, happy Friday, February 1st. Just decided I was gonna make some treats for the weekend. So we are gonna make Keto Ginger's egg loaf and egg muffins and low carb Maven's cake in a mug, muffin in a mug, whatever. I've been doing low carb forever and, you know, off and on, definitely, or I wouldn't need to do it again. But I have really tried basically every kind of cake in a mug, muffin in a mug, and this one is the best. So we're gonna make those today, but I thought I'd show you. My girls are back in eggs. So exciting. I love it so much. So we're gonna use these beautiful farm fresh eggs from my crazy chickens and make some egg loaf. So come along. So like I said, I got this recipe from Keto Ginger's channel, and I've adapted it because she did 6 eggs and I'm doing 24. Luckily I have one of these magnets that does all the conversions, and so that was helpful. So at the end of this video, I will have a screenshot of the recipe. I think that probably works the best instead of trying to write it down. So to begin with, we're gonna have 24 eggs. We're gonna put it into our Ninja, but you have to have softened cream cheese and melted butter. So to start out, I'm gonna put the butter and the cream cheese in the microwave, get those warming up. The cream cheese was 24 ounces for 24 eggs. Yeah, because it's 1-to-1 ratio. And so the conversion for that is 3 cups. And when I was at Costco last, they didn't have the little blocks of cream cheese. So I just got this. It would be 3 blocks of cream cheese, but they didn't have that. So I have this. So I measured out 3 cups of cream cheese into my measure cup. And into that, I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of butter. And then we're just gonna put that in the microwave for a minute and let it get soft while we're cracking eggs. Okay, so 3/4 of a cup of butter, 3 cups of cream cheese, and into the microwave it goes. Not a big fan of microwaving things, but sometimes convenience is necessary. So put that in for about a minute. So now we're gonna use our Ninja to mix this up. If you don't have a Ninja, any blender should do, or even a submersion blender, something like that. So we're gonna do 24 farm fresh eggs. Now around here, since I have chickens, I keep my eggshells and I feed them back to my chickens so that they get calcium. A lot of people will buy oyster shells and give those to their birds for calcium, but eggshells are better. I mean, that's exactly the calcium that they need because that's what they're using it for. So we just keep ours. I do crush them. I've heard people like crush them and bake them and go to all this trouble. I don't do all that. I just crush them up so they look less like an egg, in the hopes that nobody gets the bright idea to start, you know, eating my eggs. And so far, in a year's time, I've not had a problem with that. So that's working. And so we just keep those eggshells, and we're gonna put 24 eggs into the Ninja. I did make some, one little adaptation from Keto Ginger's recipe, and that is I'm going to add maple extract to my egg loaves. I think it sounds pretty good. I know that it's supposed to be like French toast. And so since I don't use the sugar-free syrup because a lot of the artificial sweeteners give me headaches, they just don't work with my body, I'm going to put some maple extract in there and see if it's not a little more French toast-like. So we're gonna do that. I did use liners in my muffin tins. I've done that before. The egg loaves do kind of stick to the liners a bit, but to me it's better than having to scrub out my muffin pan. So call it lazy if you want to, but that's what we're doing. So get all these guys crafted in here. just love all the colors of my eggs. I have one Easter egger that's laying right now, and that's my blue-green eggs. And it's pretty cool because, you know, when you take care of your chickens and you're there every day and, you know, you're the one feeding them and cleaning up after them and all that, you get to know who lays what egg. Like this egg is Little Mama's, the white eggs. She's the only white egg layer that I have now. She's a campine. And she is she's my tiniest chicken, and I don't hatch out her eggs because they make very tiny birds, but she is great about sitting on eggs. She goes broody very well, and she's hatched out 3 clutches of eggs for me. So she's one of my favorites. She's one of my original girls, my OG hens. So anyway, I think that's kind of cool to be so connected to your food. I think that's something that our culture lacks nowadays. And I love that I know most of which chickens laid which eggs. I've got some younger hens that I'm not really sure, you know, which ones are theirs, but for the most part I know. So I did not put paper towels over here, and I need a paper towel. So I heard the microwave go off, which means our butter and our cream cheese are soft. So into our 24 eggs, which by the way, Keto Ginger's was 6, like I said. So I'm very hopeful that this isn't going to overflow, because wouldn't that be a mess? Into our 24 eggs, we're going to add a 1/2 cup of swerve, which would have been 8 tablespoons of swerve. And I think she used monk fruit sweetener, but you can use either or, and I have swerve. I haven't actually tried monk fruit yet, so I'll have to give that a go. And then we're going to add 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. If you're adding dry seasoning or spices or whatever and wet, do the dry ones first, and that way you're not putting vanilla or maple into your container of cinnamon. So 2 teaspoons cinnamon. And really you don't have to measure. The only reason I am is because I'm doing such a large batch. I think it'd be easy to get a little crazy and overboard. And then to that, we're going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And again, like my other videos, I do not know if my vanilla or my maple have sugar in them. I bought them at Costco, or I bought the vanilla anyway, and it doesn't have its nutrition facts. So if it does, it's pretty minuscule, I'd say, but I don't think it does, but I can't be sure. And then we're gonna add 2 teaspoons of maple. And now we're going to add in our butter and our cream cheese. And since the blade is right in the middle, I kind of have to scoop it out with my spatula here, with my rubber spatula. So I hope this turns out amazing. I am doing, since I'm doing such a large batch, I'm gonna do a dozen muffins, and then I'm gonna do a regular bread pan of like a loaf pan. So I have not yet tried, I've made these a few times, but I've never made this many at once. I'm making a mess. And I've not yet tried to fry up the egg loaf after the fact and make it more like cream cheese, so I may do that tomorrow. But we needed some sweet stuff around here so that we don't eat junk food, because that's been a thing. We've been on keto now for a whole month, and I've only lost 7 pounds. It's fluctuated. I had lost more like 9, I believe, but now we're back to 7. So trying to keep some snack foods on hand that are keto friendly, and then whenever my body decides it doesn't crave sweets, that's when I'll stop eating sweets. Initially I was trying to just avoid sweets in general, but all that happened is, or all that caused, is that then I would eat stuff that had actual sugar. So not gonna do that anymore. So we've got a very full Ninja here, and I'm gonna throw that onto the base and blend her up. Okay, so it leaked. But to be fair, I didn't have the little spout closed tight. So had I had it closed tight, maybe it wouldn't have leaked. But if you decide to make this and follow this recipe, be mindful because it'll probably leak. So no big deal, I'll just wash it off. So we're gonna fill up this muffin tin of 24 muffins. And ooh, I'm gonna fill them about a little more than 3/4 full. I always feel like when I mix this up, it's so much more bubbly. And so if I fill it 3/4 full, it should settle down a little bit. And it is very messy to pour so much from the Ninja at one time. So my attempt to not have to scrub my muffin tin is really not working out. Oh geez. It's gonna be a mess. Okay, and then into the loaf pan, we're gonna pour the rest of our mixture. Ooh, there's a lot. Gosh, I could almost do like a tiny, be right back, I gotta see if I have a tiny container to bake in. Okay, so I have some little 8x8 aluminum pans that I keep around for when we cook on the grill. So I'm gonna put some in this and just have some extra egg loaf that we can eat with a fork. So for anyone that's counting, 24 eggs fills 12 muffin pans or muffin tins, as well as probably 2 solid loaves, especially if you close the little spout and it doesn't leak all over your countertop. I bet I could have done 2 loaves of egg loaf and then 12 muffins as well. So we're gonna note that for next time. Okay, so everybody's gonna go in the oven, 350 degrees, because everything I cook is 350 degrees. And Keto Ginger said her muffins were perfect after 22 minutes. So I'll start checking then. We know that like a loaf typically takes longer than a muffin. So I'll start checking at 22 minutes, and I think she said the original recipe said 30. So we'll check them out when they're done. Okay, so I'm cleaning up from the egg loaf mess while it's in the oven, and I happen to think of a quick tip that I wanted to share with you guys. So how many of us have a Ninja blender and never use it because it's a pain in the neck to wash? So I thought I'd show you the easy way to wash it. So I have filled my Ninja back up with hot water to the max liquid line, right? Take a little dish soap into the spout, a little squirt, a few drops. Make sure the spout is closed tightly. Now we know. And then just turn it on and hit start. So after you've run your Ninja full of hot water with dish soap in it on a smoothie cycle, then you just rinse it out, just put it on a towel to dry, and it's good to go for next time. So simple, don't have to scrub. Okay, so now that I got the whole egg loaf mess cleaned up, we're going to make some chocolate muffin in a mug or a cake in a mug, depends on the recipe, but it's the same thing. We're gonna make some make ahead dry ingredients for that. This recipe comes from Low Carb Maven, and I have to say I've tried a ton of muffin in a mug recipes. This one is amazing. The texture's right on, the flavor's great. I really enjoyed it. So she had a suggestion on her recipe to make ahead the dry ingredients, and so that way when you're ready to have cake in a mug or muffin in a mug, you just add your wet ingredients and mix it up and pop it in the microwave. So I do have like these little tiny jars left over from, we did snow globes with the kids at Christmas, and I have a few of these left over floating around, and I love them. I make ranch dressing in them, and I thought how perfect to make these muffin in a mugs. But I will tell you, I tried it and I tried to mix up, because the wet ingredients consist of a tablespoon of mayo, 1 egg yolk, a large egg yolk, and then she had a teaspoon of water, but I used a teaspoon of vanilla extract. At any rate, tried to mix that up in this, and it was ridiculous. It's very hard to get to the bottom and get it all stirred in. So my suggestion would be dump it into a bowl, mix it up, and then you could put it back into this cute little glass jar to cook it in the microwave. But I would not suggest trying to mix it in here because it was kind of a hassle. So I just thought I'd throw some together, the dry ingredients, to have it on hand for the weekend. So her recipe says 2 tablespoons of almond flour per cake in a mug. And that is Swerve. That is not almond flour. And she suggests going through and making sure you don't have any clumps in your almond flour, and mine's a little clumpy, but it'd be okay. So each little jar is going to get 2 tablespoons of the almond flour. So I feel like with these in the pantry, or I guess you could keep them in the fridge. I don't know what the moisture would do to the baking soda. But with them in the pantry, as a grab and go, something that you can make something chocolatey and sweet in 50 seconds, I feel like we would be much less likely to eat junk food because these are just quick and easy. So we have the 2 tablespoons of almond flour in each one. To that, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of Swerve. You could use a sweetener of your choice. We like Swerve, and I just happen to have a whole bag of it, so that's what we're using today. So everybody gets a tablespoon of Swerve. Breathing it in over here, so that's fun. Okay, and then to that, we're gonna put 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder in each jar. I have Hershey's cocoa powder. I feel like there's better brands that have better flavor to them. I think it could only make it better if you get a you know, more flavorful brand. But this is okay, it works. Into each container, we're going to add 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. And so just like that, you have these cute little jars for a cake in a mug. And when you're ready to actually make it, just give it a good shake to incorporate all the ingredients together. I kind of like how it's layered. I think it looks cuter. And then add 1 tablespoon of mayo, 1 large egg yolk, and a teaspoon of vanilla, and put it in the microwave for 50 seconds. You can top this with whipped cream. I've done peanut butter. It was yummy, kind of like a Reese's. You could do cream cheese frosting. The possibilities are endless. You could use sugar-free jelly if you eat that. So yeah, really good to have on hand, delicious. Don't try to mix it in the jar though. Okay? Okay. You guys, aren't they so pretty? This is how much I spilled with that Ninja being so full. So that'll be fun to scrub. But yeah, they look really good. I still have the loaf and the little 8x8 aluminum pan are still in the oven cooking because, as I expected, they're taking longer than the little muffins. But yeah, they turned out beautiful. And then we have our little grab and go cake in a mugs. So it's gonna be a great weekend. So you guys have an awesome weekend. Make you some keto treats instead of cheating on regular treats. And if you make anything, let me know how it turned out. Okay? Okay. I love you. Goodbye.